All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
I'm Kristen.
So I'm watching Riverdale, Season 5, Episode 17, The Dance of Death, directed by Natalie Bolt.
Oh, it's not on here, but cool. Yay.
So I didn't hate this. I liked this one. Mostly because you are correct. I think the last two did feel definitely more like Riverdale.
For sure.
But this had the decency to pick up where we left off months ago,
to the point where I was like, oh yeah, Veronica still wants to bone Archie. I thought we had moved past that.
I have a theory that this actually has everything it needs to be a good season. It just needs to be remixed, re-edited, because too much happened in this episode. And if we threw some of this into previous episodes, it would have the whole thing.
Because we had 3 fully formed plots that could have sustained the entire episode on their own, like a bottle episode. And instead we did all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to do first?
Well, Veronica
had the perfect chance to literally kill 2 birds with 1 gun. And didn't do it. I just assumed she was going to use the, like, untraceable gun to do Hiram too.
There's a part of me that we've done this, and
and if you cross me one more time, Daddy, then I'm gonna shoot you. Are you? No one's been able to do it yet.
Unlike you, I hold true to my word, and it's like, oh, that'll get him.
Yeah.
And the Chadwick stuff, I was like, again, but I would have liked this months ago, this weird Chad coming after Archie. It happened. This episode was moving so quickly,
so inept at because he tried to kill Archie and then he tried to kill Veronica and then Hiram blew up the mine while Archie was inside, and I'm just like,
he comes at Archie literal seconds after Hiram instructs him to do so, and part of me was sort of like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's happening. This is it. And then Archie straight Winter Soldier bops him.
He hucked that trash can lid like he was Captain America.
Oh God, it was so funny. And what
we didn't know is that Archie runs an intramural ultimate frisbee team in his spare time.
Is that true?
No. How he hucked that trash can.
For all I know, that's where he was coming from that late at night.
An indoor intramural ultimate frisbee team that they host at the gym.
I try to listen to as much as I can, and it is a lot. The trouble I'm having from where I'm sitting right here talking to you about this is I don't know what you want from me. Usually when we're recapping this stuff, we're talking about how much we enjoyed it, how funny it is, yada, yada. There were things I enjoyed about this episode. There were things I want to talk about in this episode. And also I feel that I have to talk about the other stuff. But it's hard for me to care about anything that's happening with Veronica and Hiram because none of it matters. It doesn't matter. This is the 372nd time we have watched that scene play out.
We will be back to the status quo next Wednesday.
And so I just don't, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Or maybe not next Wednesday, but the next time they share scenes together, we will be back at the status quo and it'll all be scheming and Hiram will be
she'll explain her plan and he'll thwart it and she'll be like, this is your last chance, Daddy.
Fool me 7 times, shame on you. Fool me 8 or more times, shame on me.
Yeah.
Or somehow she'll inexplicably be devoted to him next episode.
Also, she said the quiet part out loud in this episode where she said Oedipus, and I was like,
say Oedipal, which does make it worse.
Yeah, way worse.
Did she kill Chad?
I mean, he is at least severely wounded.
It was just very funny because I recall, again, they say so much because this is a packed show and this was a packed episode of a packed show that if you so much as sneezed, you missed 3 crucial details. And they hinge entire plots and upcoming episodes are going to hinge on the one passing thing they said in this episode. But it seemed like he was dead. And my favorite part is that she shoots him. And then Cheryl calls. She answers the phone and was like, oh my God, Cheryl, any news? And I was just sort of like, you just shot your ex-husband. I don't know. It was weird.
But that's the other, that not that necessarily, but that's the thing about this episode that the thing I care the least about. Because, like, honestly, kind of watching Camila Mendez and Mark Consuelos act at each other is kind of fun. You know, like, the storyline
We're
blows,
in new
but
sets
it's kind of
this
fun.
season, like, so there's stuff.
Veronica's bathroom is the tits.
There's stuff to look at, but
the problem is that, like, the Archie and Veronica stuff is the most bored I've ever been.
I'm bored. I'm so bored.
I liked them before in high school, and then I was like, oh, we're moving on. And then we didn't move on.
Well, and also the absurdity. So the absurdity is frequently what we like about this show, but the absurdity of the plots doesn't hold up to scrutiny when the show itself shines flashlights on it.
Right.
So that brings us to Cheryl's whole thing. I'm trying so hard to love it. I kind of do. I kind of just love it. Madeline Petch can make many things work, except for apparently her lemonade fast made her bad at acting in that one scene.
It was weird.
When she just sort of stumbled out of the...
Yeah.
And also nothing came of it. I mean, nothing... I thought for sure maybe she was going to be... I don't know.
Well, she painted that painting.
Sure. That was great. But Kevin going whole hog on this cult so quickly, so completely and so quickly. And then when the show is trying to question, where they're like, isn't it weird that he's like for this? Because he's questioning who are they praying to? What exactly are they trying to get at? Mm-hmm. And you were like, because it was better when you were praying to Jason Blossom?
Okay, that's my thing, is they also have pulled a total 180 with the way that Kevin is acting towards this cult, because last week I was certain that he was trying to be a snake oil salesman, where he just was like, oh, I'm in this for the, we're going to Scientology the fuck out of these people. And I'm in this for the long haul. I'm going to get my money. I'm going to have a wife hidden away somewhere, all of that. And then all of a sudden he's devout in this episode. And like one stray comment from Penelope makes him question the like actual reality of this religion.
Which my favorite part is now Natalie Bolt directing herself to lurk around that corner.
Yeah, I mean...
that Kim Kardashian meme Kim Kardashian gif.
Yeah, like... I can't fault that. But I don't understand how he was like... It seemed like he was so fully in the fake thing before, but then we didn't see him jump on board in a real way.
And next week he'll be back on board. So it's
although Cheryl did answer the phone when he called, and she was like, "What do you want, you Philistine?" Which was hilarious.
Well, and furthermore, the Cheryl becoming magic or whatever, I would be so excited for them to do that if I believed they were going to. But I don't, because this will have been, the 7th time they threaten us with something supernatural, only to back down at the last minute, up to and including this episode.
So we did have a commenter who told us that, like, the first 6 episodes of season 6 are going to be, like,
an AU.
Cheryl being magic, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, and further... I mean, I guess I'll tune in, but what is that even? So is it going to matter? I mean, is it like a spinoff? Is it like a backdoor pilot? Like, I don't understand.
Or are we going to go back around our asses to get to our elbow and find out she has been faking it all along?
Or that she was just locked in a mental hospital? Like,
oh, God.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where I'm getting it. For me, it's not the absurdity of the plots; it's the redundancy that I am,
and the lack of consequences, like you said, where it's like, sure, all of this was great and it happened, and it was like fun to watch.
Because I genuinely loved when she was sitting there praying, and like the fire got bigger, and they were like, "Whoa!"
So
and
cool.
Somehow this show still thinks we give a fuck about Jackson.
No, I don't at all. He could have died in that mine, and I
wouldn't have noticed.
I would have forgotten he was ever on the show.
So they were in the mines because Archie was working for Cheryl, and then
they're all working for Cheryl to try to dig up palladium.
Yeah, and then she chimed him $517, which the product placement. Look, so many people think they're so fucking clever for pointing out very conspicuous product placement.
The first commercial out of that section of the TV show was a chime commercial.
No, but I'm saying, like, I watch reaction videos and be like, oh, it's so commercial. They're sellouts. So it was like it is Hollywood. Yes, there you might run into 1 or 2 sellouts in Hollywood.
Yeah.
The issue I have is they go so above and beyond creating this alternate uncanny reality that the 2 or 3 times that they actually plug something, it's neck breaking. Like, it is utterly neck shattering.
Also, I'm like 100% sure she could have forked over $5,000. $517 is such a deliberately mean amount,
because it's worse than, because frankly to me it's worse than 500.
It's worse than no money.
No.
It's like,
I'm like, it's like the 17. Was that a tip? Like, what is, I don't know, it was weird. And so Hiram bombed them in the mine because and this is still good old-fashioned season 3, he hates Archie? Or is there a new justification for it?
It's because of the Chad and Veronica.
Why is he so in on Chad?
Because he was controlling Veronica for the last 7 years.
And Hiram understands that that's his motive?
Oh, I don't know. Veronica seemed to be way less of a thorn in his side for the last 7 years while she was happily married to Chad.
I suppose.
That happily was in quotation marks. He was obviously gaslighting and controlling her the entire time. He faked a helicopter accident to, make her stay in line.
That's why Copter cab.
Copter cab. Yeah.
I don't know where to go from there, because all the plots after that, those are the 2 plots that are sort of removable from the Rat King. That is the rest of this episode.
Sure.
So Britta is a student that we have met.
Yes, because she was on the football team when Archie was coaching.
Continuity there. Didn't need it, but that's where we got it.
No, but I mean, it works. And also, Tabitha got a phone call that her friend Lynette Squeaky was missing. Although, at this point, she's been missing for 2 months.
Yeah. Okay, so Tony helps Britta come out. We see Britta in one scene. The rest of the story plays out off screen. Mm-hmm. Baffling choice.
This could have been an A plot in an episode.
This could have been, it's just
this
she
show
runs away from home.
Very special episodes before. It could have been that.
She runs away from home because her parents were medium about it. Because the way
Tony explained it.
It was very, have you tried not being a mutant?
Yeah.
And it wasn't get out of my house.
Sure.
So I guess her parents were medium about it. It was kind of a bummer. She ran away, of course, got abducted on the lonely highway.
Well, she ran away and left a really dramatic note that said, now you don't have to deal with me anymore. And again, you're right, where it's have you tried not being a mutant? And it's maybe they just need 15 to 20 minutes to get used to this. You don't have to run away immediately.
I'm not trying to take the parents' side.
No.
And so they have to go find her. And Tony and Fangs have this real sort of embarrassment of riches back and forth, where one of them can't go find Britta because
Tony can't go alone
because it'll leave the baby without a mother, so that they both then have to go,
so that the baby will end up with Kevin.
Will be who
didn't want any of this
and is susceptible to cults. And sure, I hear you out there being but he saw through this one. If it's happened more than once.
No, that baby would be minus 1 kidney in less than a year. We got a
flashback to this. So actually, Betty and Tabitha are the only 2 people who are still good. And we let Lily Reinhardt act again this episode.
Oh my God.
We really had her on a leash for a while there.
Thank God. She's so amazing. And I'm just really glad she got to
she's at least doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's it's not good, but it's I was oh. I woke up when she was on screen.
Well, it's she's doing good, but she's doing good at bad material. Yeah.
So they're still pretending to be.
They're pretending to be sex workers.
They're pretending to hook, which I thought it was, so we're very, very positive on sex work.
Yeah.
Round of applause, real work, all of that stuff. No shame, no judgment.
Pay for sex. Not all the time, but if you pay your
that's a take.
Sorry.
Pay your sex workers.
That's what I meant.
However, when we're talking colloquially,
I'm sorry, I can't stop.
When we're talking colloquially,
sure.
In this new neo-noir,
sure.
I will use some of the more the hookers, whatever, blah, blah, blah. what I found funny, and because I think it's completely within character for Betty to refer to it as sex work.
Sure.
I find it funny that the inbred alien serial killers are also referring to them as sex workers.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, Jughead did.
No,
The
what's
other
his
guy
name?
did
Yeah.
too? Okay.
It was very funny.
That's right. He did say sex workers. Yeah, he really did. That's hilarious.
There's no real reason other than I found it amusing. Because I guess, we don't need to be throwing slurs around, but I don't know. It's whatever. Well, because also Betty and Tabitha were out there for, what'd she say, like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Or was it 1 week? It might have been 7 days.
I think it was 10 days.
Days passed. And according to any other woman who has ever even looked at that road, you get abducted. If you think about leaving, you're getting abducted. So that means...
If you're trying to escape Riverdale anywhere near the Lonely Highway, you are getting abducted by a trucker.
So that means these inbred alien serial killers are like, it's these whores again.
God damn it.
They just keep passing Betty and Tabitha. But also you have to imagine they're probably like, it happened one night. Like they're out there overacting, sort of like Mae West. Like, why don't you come up and see me sometime? And also, you have to bear in mind...
Colbert thing, that's the thing.
You have to bear in mind, these two women are sixes in this reality.
Oh, God.
That's a throwback to an old episode.
Riverdale sixes.
She's a real Riverdale six, if you know what I mean.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Very funny. But then, so just tonally, like I said, like neck-shattering shifts, tonal shifts. Because we had to meet a character named Squeaky. They cast an actress.
Like 12 episodes ago.
We see her run away from home. We wonder where she is for all of these months that pass, only to find out that she is dead.
Yep.
Also dismembered.
Yep.
And her body destroyed beyond recognition.
Super hard to do.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much. And
blessedly, we don't see it because this show comes on the CW.
It's just, it's like, remember when whoever was like pulling their teeth out and the implication was they were dying of loss of blood from the mouth?
Yeah. And
you were like, that's too, I don't know.
I don't like that. Was that on this show?
Yeah.
Shit.
It was like, the Goblin King or the Gargoyle King or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he said something. It was like with Showgirls when they were like compound fracture of the hip.
Oh, sure.
And you were like, I beg your unbelievable pardon.
Yeah, no, that's not. No,
she's never walking again.
Not ever.
Screw showgirling. It was like, so they say these things, and I think because they sound serious. But if you know what they're talking about, you're like, Christ in heaven. Like,
so they like dismembered and she's destroyed. So she's unrecognizable. It's like, okay, you've taken out her eyes. You've probably cut off her nose and her ears. You've removed all of her teeth and her fingertips. And I'm just like, that's too much. Any and all scars or identifying marks on the body, you've had to slice those off.
It's too much. And it seems Polly's just dead.
Okay, here's the thing. We have talked about Polly before. I'm way more forgiving of Polly and the actress that played her.
I have no beef with Tara. I have no beef with you, Tara.
Here's the thing. I think the actress is great. I've seen her in other stuff where she's quite good. Polly has always kind of...
Liking Polly or not does not negate that the character of Polly Cooper deserved more.
The character of Polly Cooper was relatively important to this show and this story. To have her killed off screen and to have had her be dead for presumably weeks and just shoved in the trunk of a car in a junkyard is offensive to me. I don't like the message that sends. I don't appreciate the way that was handled. I don't like having given Betty and Alice all of this false hope for all of this time because they didn't have a body. I also understand that this is the way that kidnappings and abductions and disappearances and murders happen all the time. It's
Which, if that's the story you're telling, then we need to be telling that story.
Exactly.
And not Cheryl Blossom maybe being magic because Archie's stuck in a mine.
100%.
It doesn't...
Because I'll tell you, honest to God, I give very few shits about Polly in general. But I was getting very misty when they found her in the trunk and
because
Alice
whether or
and
not
Betty,
we liked the character, she's Betty's sister.
Well, also, but like,
and has 2 children.
She does have 2 children. And the thing for me was that like Betty, like, Lily and Al and Mädchen, I can't with the names. They were acting it so well about like finding her in the trunk of that car and everything, but it's still,
Which
it's
also,
like, it means almost less than nothing because of how it all played out.
Which also, at this point in Polly's story, she was sex working.
Yeah.
I don't
like the optics of this.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's not my favorite thing.
And it like you said, like, yes, these things do happen, and cliches are cliches, and tropes are tropes for a reason, but this wasn't a good usage of these cliches or tropes.
Also, do you remember when this show was subverting the tropes? Or like, leaning into them in a different way?
I frequently say part of subversion is the places where you lean in, but it just sort of, this needed to be a minimum of 2, if not 3 episodes. Because also it's like, so I was probably the most entertained when Jughead and Betty were
sleuthing around again.
Well, yeah, but we're I keep want to say instigating, and that's not it. Interrogating Nana, but like, because we fucking love Nana Rose.
Oh yeah.
But also, bitch, way to just like sit
on all of that information.
Like, I mean, talk about tea.
Yeah.
And the worst part is the plot was interesting. Yeah. I could believe that there was a clan of blossoms out there who are hill people. Like, but to have it start, middle, and end in this episode. Yeah. Like,
also, did Nana Rose never know that girls were going missing along a lonely highway? Did she just not care? She seems to have mostly
seem like she's
like not, I think she's not
in total control of her. Yeah, she's not in total control of her faculties, but she doesn't seem cruel.
That's the thing, is she has always seemed mostly like neutral, benevolent to neutral. And so it's like, it's a very weird use of Nana Rose to have known that there was this murderous clan of blossoms in the woods and never say anything about it.
And like, the whole thing was actually very interesting. The boogeyman of the Mothman was fun, to say the least.
It was finally explained a little, which was nice.
But to have it...
Not aliens.
But to have it just so mangled and sort of like...
Yeah.
Into this episode, I don't know. I didn't like how it came out. And I do just love that they were just like... Because the whole time we had this theory that like the truckers... were like the spaceship was the back of a truck, like or was that even in the show?
No, that's what that I think I said that because I was like, ooh, like the back of a liquid truck, the ones that are round and metal.
Because they kept very conspicuously being like, well, it was like being in a shed. Yeah, but like I could hear people outside, and so I was like, oh, they're like keeping them in these trucks wherever these trucks are. I was certain
it was like a milk truck, like the back of a milk truck.
They were in a shed.
Yeah,
they were in a shed in a junkyard. I
don't love it, and then I also.
Because why would you think that's a space, like if you were in a car that you could sense was moving? I don't know.
Sure. Sort of at the last minute, I was like, the guy, Mr. Dreyfus, said something about like needing the girls.
He also, I didn't understand that.
And so I was like, are they trying to make like not genetically mutated babies? Do they need like fresh meat from the outside? And so then I was like thinking that there was going to be a slew of pregnant runaway sex workers in the shed, and no, they're just, everyone's dead except for Britta. And I was like, because she just got taken yesterday, and I'm just like, I guess, but like, I don't know. It was very, again, you're right, it was interesting. I was very entertained the whole episode because it was so rapid fire, like stuff was happening in every scene, but at the same time, I don't really love how any of it resolved.
At several points I was like, oh, is this what we're doing? And then I was like, oh, I guess we're done.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, like, if you just even start listing off the things that happened, Chad got murdered. Archie was in another situation where he had to rescue Jackson.
I haven't even said the name Dr. Curdle Jr.
Dr. Curdle Jr.
Lerman Logan.
I mean...
Lerman Logan was back.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was great. That kid's fine. I have no issue with him, but...
Also, we could have had Bingo this whole time. Bingo was cute.
Instead of Jackson.
We finally meet Bingo, and I was like, Are you fucking kidding me, Riverdale?
Are we serious? Are we serious? Thanks.
I don't know. And did we decide his name was Dreyfus, the whatever?
Mr. Dreyfus.
He couldn't confess his entire plan fast enough to Jughead.
God, so fast.
It was just really weird. It was really, I don't know.
Jughead was literally like, hey, why don't you tell me about who you really are? And he was like,
all right.
You got it.
You
dude.
asked for it. You can't unask it. And I mean, Fangs went right into a wolf trap. I don't know.
But then also he and Tony had this really like tender moment about whether or not they can really like do this and raise a baby.
Well, because we finally got clarification that Fangs is bisexual.
Yeah.
Because when he married Kevin was the first we'd heard of any of it.
Yeah.
Because Kevin was with Joaquin.
Yeah.
And then they just sort of threw Fangs to him last season. So now I'm like, so are Fangs and Tony gonna be a thing? Because he was massaging her feet.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. My point is that I think that scene in it should have been in a different episode so it could breathe. Because it really was just like, hey, do you think we can do this? And Tony was like, yeah, 100%. Cut to the next scene. And I was like, all right. I mean, I guess.
We saw part of next week. It does appear that Tara is back.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
God, because
I
was like, so they don't show Polly in the trunk of the car, and I was like, you couldn't get this bitch one more paycheck? Are you fucking kidding me?
I kept waiting for her to be alive. And
me too.
At a certain point, I was like, oh no, she dead.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I mean, I guess if this is in service of Metch and Amic's first acting opportunity of the season in the next week,
then sure.
Then I'll allow it.
Because she just has been very like...
She's done nothing.
Very low and crying, and that's it. And I'm just sort of like...
She's maybe an alcoholic, but it also seems like just a few days of rest could snap her out of that.
That's also, like, in this instance, a fair coping mechanism, in my opinion. Your daughter is hooking. Your daughter goes missing. You are left in charge of the demon twins who are pushing other kids down the stairs.
I forgot about that.
That kid deserved it, though.
Right.
But regardless, whatever.
That was a lot.
Yeah. That deserves a couple glasses of Chardonnay.
I'm going to pull the Christina Pickles from Friends.
Oh, sure.
A lot of information to take in.
Yeah, I mean.
So, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
We hoped you enjoyed or appreciated our conversation, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.